Bye. Man, I just finished a personal statement writing session with the student, and unfortunately, I had to chew her out. The essay was not answering the prompt. The essay was lacking focus. It was lacking clarity. A lot of these common mistakes that I really think a lot of students need to pay attention to and need to fix. Because if you're trying to get into physical therapy school, you have to make sure that your essay is clear and it's actually answering the prompt. So in this video, I'm going to teach you what exactly you need to write about to get accepted into physical therapy school regarding your personal statement. So let's get into it. Let go. What's going on, everyone? My name is Dr. Justin Lee, physical therapist. I'm a PT school admission expert, and I help students get accepted into physical therapy school the first time. So I'm going to teach you how to write your personal statement for PT school, and this is going to be a game changer. You're going to read your essay, learn the tips that I'm teaching you in this video, and you're going to go back and reread your essay and redraft it because you're probably not doing it right. But let's talk about that. What are you not doing right? So what are some common mistakes that people make when writing their personal statement? The biggest mistake that I see when working with students, and make sure you're paying attention to this, is actually answering the prompt. So right now, this video is filmed in 2023, and if you're watching it years later, it might be a different prompt. But the physical therapy, the PT CAS essay prompt is pretty much asking you what makes you unique and what is going to make you a successful physical therapist. As you're reading everything that you have written, ask yourself, does this share what makes me unique? And am I sharing how that's going to help me be a successful physical therapist? If you're not clearly answering those two questions, then you are doing it wrong. Go back, redraft it, and make sure you're answering those two questions. I'm going to share with you two more common mistakes, but the third one is super important, so make sure you're paying attention to this. The second mistake is that you don't have a strong and enticing hook. Your first paragraph, probably the first 5 sentences, is going to set you up for the entire essay. And if you are being super generic, if you're going to tell your life story of how you got into physical therapy, where you started, it's super boring. All right. Now think about this. When you watch your Netflix show, the pilots, the first episode, and especially in the very beginning, are they starting off with the person getting up in bed, snoozing their alarm, making breakfast? No, that's super boring. They're starting out with the person in the battlefield shooting and killing all these people, and then boom, a big explosion happens and there's ringing in the ears. The person is unconscious, and then just as the person is closing their eyes, turns out that person grabs them and kidnaps them. And now you're like, what's going on? How did that happen? It captures your attention. Your hook, your first paragraph should do the exact same thing. Get to the climax, think of the end first, and start with that. The third big thing, hey, pay attention, is a lack of reflection. Whew, man, so many students miss this part. They share a great story, they do all the right things, good experience, but they build it up and then they drop the ball. They miss the game-winning layup. All you have to do is share your reflection. What have you learned? How have you grown? How did this transform you? This is really important. And we're going to talk about this because that's going to be a huge part of writing a perfect personal statement. Hey, before we get into the actual parts, the tactical things of how to write a personal statement, I'm just curious, if one of those 3 things were you and I was talking to you, give this video a like and let me know in the comments. Be vulnerable. I want to know what struggles you're going through with the personal statement essay writing process because I want to help. Please let me know. So we're going to jump into the next part. So please pay attention, because in this next part, I'm going to teach you how to write that perfect personal statement that's going to get you accepted. So like I mentioned, it's 2023. So the prompt is asking what makes you unique and how is that uniqueness going to make you a successful physical therapist. If you're watching this in the years later, this might not necessarily be relevant to you, but I think you can get a little bit of tactical things from what we're going to be talking about here. But this is very specific for 2023, 2024, probably 2025 as well, because PTCast usually reuses the same prompt for several years. Okay, so there are 3 main parts to this, and make sure again you stay for that third one, because that third one is going to be a huge part of what's going to get you accepted, what's going to help you stand out. Okay, first part of writing a really good personal statement is make sure that you have 2 experiences or stories to share. Only focus on 2. Many students will start out with one idea to the next experience, to the next idea, to the next experience, and they're talking about 5, 6, 7 different things. And when I'm working with students, like the student that I just talked to here earlier, man, I'm like, I'm lost. I'm not engaged. I want to not read your essay anymore, and I want to move on to the next student because it doesn't keep my attention. So focus on just those 2 stories, those 2 experiences, because those are the things that we are going to use and pull a lot of information out of, so that we can write a really compelling personal statement. Okay, now number 2, like we talked about, you have to reflect on your experience. Whatever has happened in your experience or your stories, I want you to share with me, what have you learned? You can say, quote, quote, through these experiences, I have learned, right? Or, quote, quote, through these experiences, or through what I have gone through, I have grown by, right? Just those things. And then you can finish off the sentences. And I want you to actually spend about 5 to 8 different sentences to elaborate on your reflection. That's the most critical thing. So that's going to share with the person who's reading your essay, how have you grown? How have you matured? This is so important, because as you're going through your undergraduate years, I mean, you're a freaking kid when you're 18 years old. But as you go throughout life, you're going to learn all the mistakes that you've made, all the things that you have learned from those mistakes. And now the third part is, how does that relate to being a successful physical therapist? Oh my gosh. So many students miss this part. They don't answer how it relates to being a successful physical therapist. Again, how it doesn't answer the prompt. Answer the freaking prompt. So this is the way that you're going to do this. You're going to share your 2 experiences. You're going to reflect on how those experiences have made you grow, or how it transformed you, or what you learned from that. And then whatever you learned, that's what you're going to use to share how that's going to make you a successful physical therapist. I'm going to share an example with you of how to use these 3 things and how to write that in your personal statement so that you can get accepted. But I will say this. If you need help with your personal statement, I can help you with one-on-one coaching. And matter of fact, I have a really good, awesome opportunity right now for you to work with me on several occasions very quickly. All we need to do is 25-minute sessions to make sure you are on the right track, so that you are writing the right things, using the formula and approach that I'm teaching you to help you get accepted. If you're interested in that, there's a link in the description. You can go to that link, purchase, and self-book at your nearest availability, and we can get started on your personal statement right away. Okay, let's review this example together. So I was working with a student earlier this year, and from this essay, she has gotten multiple interview opportunities from different schools. That means they're judging her on her application, but also her essay. So this essay has been really helpful, and she utilized these same 3 things that I had just taught you in this video. So here's an example of what she talked about. So she first mentioned how she got COVID and she got sick, just like a lot of other people, but COVID has really affected her negatively, because this has made her health really decline to a point where she got bedridden and hospitalized for weeks. Now, granted that she was deadlifting over 300 pounds and squatting in the 200 range and really building up her self-esteem by working out. But because of this experience of being hospitalized, she lost all of that. So throughout the several weeks that she had to go through rehabilitation with physical therapists alongside the hospital and outpatient rehab, she had to regain that ability, literally the ability to walk again. But through her experience with her physical therapist, she learned how to walk, she learned how to do her first squat, and she built the self-confidence to go back into the gym. Now, this experience was very transformative for her because it really humbled her as to learn how much it takes to really just put in the effort to walk or do your simple functional tasks. She has learned compassion and empathy for the future patients that she's going to work with that are going to come into her clinic. And on top of that, to go a layer deeper, prior to getting COVID-19 and going to the hospital, she had issues with her self-esteem, body dysmorphia, and she really had some social struggles that she was going through with social media and the pressure of other people and how she really looked. And that's what was one of her driving factors to really exercise and get stronger. And throughout the journey of rehabbing and being able to start walking again and squatting and building up her strength, she has learned the ability to have self-kindness, to have self-love, and to extend that out to anyone who's really struggling with low self-esteem as well. And all of these things that she has learned throughout this experience, she's going to utilize to empower and to have compassion those who are going to come into her clinic and serve her as a successful physical therapist. So that's exactly what I mean. Experiences, reflection, and relate it to answering the prompt of how it's going to help you be a successful physical therapist. Hey, was that helpful? Was this video helpful for you? Let me know in the comments, yes, this was helpful, or if there's any type of video topic idea regarding the personal statement or PT school essays, let me know so that I can create more videos like that on my channel. If you need help, I can help you. One-on-one coaching, super fast. Make sure you're on the right track. Do some revisions for you to make sure that you can get accepted into PT school. There's a link in the description. Sign up for that today before your deadline comes. My spots fill up very quickly, and it's very often that you need to book out a couple weeks in advance because I'm already booked up that much. So think ahead. If you need help, let me know. Take action before it's too late, and I can't help you because the deadlines are too fast. All right, everyone, every day is a great day to lift weights, lift others, and lift yourself up. Stay lifting.